Well, hello my dreamers, and welcome back to another video in my kitchen. Welcome to Mystic Kitchen. Okay, we are going to be making another dream oil today. If you guys saw my last video that I did on the Lucid Dream oil, that one was not only super easy to do, I used the LEVO II Pro, which we will be using again, but the oil turned out pretty potent. And what I mean by that is my dreams were vivid every single time that I used it, and I had a lot more recall than usual, and I could definitely tell the days that I didn't take the oil. I also tested it during the times of like dry spells. Maybe I was going to bed late or there was just a lot happening and I wasn't really having high dream recall or maybe even remembering hardly any dreams. And that seemed to also help me get some dream recall back. So far the test on that oil is pretty awesome. One thing to note on that one is I did put a lot of valerian root in it. And if you guys have ever had like valerian root tea or anything, you know it has a very distinct, weird flavor to it. And so I'm definitely going to do less of that. Also, because I have way cooler dream herbs to put in this one, even though the last one was full of lots of good stuff. It was primarily blue lotus and mugwort. This one, we've got quite the collection of dream herbs to use for this one. I haven't looked around a lot for like lucid dream oils or tinctures or whatever. I'm much more interested in making my own. And from the dream herbs that I got here, I'm really excited. I think this is going to be one of the most little potent lucid dreaming supplements, especially seeing how well the last one worked. This one is going to hit way harder because of the passion flower and the calea, zacatechichi, and the ginkgo that we have in it this time. So I'm super excited. Let's go and just start chopping up the herbs. One thing that I'm going to do different than last time is I am going to chop up everything and kind of mix it all together. Hopefully that will help with the infusion and we'll be able to get more out of it. I also think I'm going to do a double infusion, so I'm basically going to run the infusion for twice the amount of time. That way we can get the most out of these dream herbs as possible. Okay, and as far as the dream herbs we are using in this oil, I've got some lavender, some passion flower, a lot too, some valerian root, calea Z or calea zacatechichi, some Egyptian blue lotus, some ginkgo biloba leaf, some mugwort, and then a little bit of this honey ginger chamomile tea for taste, basically. Okay, now let's discuss my actual goal through this specific oil, because the last one was just to kind of see if the infuser works and to try just making an oil in general and seeing how easy it is and obviously how potent the first batch is. What I realized with the first one is it really did help with dream vividness and dream recall, which is obviously great. But for this oil, I really want it to be able to do a few different things. I really want it to be able to be used as a meditation oil, so it really helps you drop into a deeper state of consciousness faster. So this could aid meditation. This could also aid right before bed, right? So I want it to be something that could be a meditation oil, but also a dream oil that you take right before bed. So ideally, I would love for this to have some like relaxing effects to it, be able to slow down the brain waves, be able to help you fall into a light sleep and kind of carry you gently into sleep. Be able to lengthen your REM cycles, which is what passion flower is helpful with, is kind of extending your REM periods and getting the most out of your REM periods, being able to experience dream vividness, dream recall, dream clarity, and ultimately more awareness within our dreams. And I think the combination between these dream herbs is really going to be powerful. And at some point in this video, I will also put up a little bit about each dream herb so you can see kind of the basic effects of that herb and kind of what they're all going to do together in this oil. All right, my friends, I guess I should probably get a cutting board out, and I am just going to basically make a little mixed chop bowl of all of these herbs, and then we're going to fill the infuser with it. Right, first, we are going to do calea Z. The reason why I'm not blending it or something is because I don't want it to be like a powder. I just want it to be, and it's super dry, so I can honestly just crumple it, but I just want it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm not looking for it to be like powder. Plus, if I make extra, then I can also use this for like tea or something. Like I'll literally have all of these herbs in one little batch that I can kind of, you know, do whatever with. So we're just gonna see how much this all ends up making. Now we're gonna do, oh, I love this one, Blue Lotus. Oh my god, guys, I'm so excited. What the hell? Okay, let's do some lavender. I'm for sure gonna have to vacuum. Okay. It's like pillowy, you know? It's like soft. I don't think I've ever seen mugwort like as a just regular plant. I wonder why it's so fluffy. It's just so fluffy. I don't know why. Oh my god. This is gonna be the best dream oil the world has seen. Okay, and it honestly smells so good. It has like a minty type of smell, and then you get that hit of like lavender, and you get that mugwort. I love that it's not so valerian root forward this time. I think that will make it even more pleasant, and it's so beautiful. So I guess now is the time. Now is the time where we kind of put together the oil in the infuser. We put together the herbs in the little strainers, and we put our MCT oil in. So let's go and get that set up and yeah, see what happens next. Alright, so these are the little strainer things that we're going to be putting the herbs in, and then we're going to plug it in here and add our organic MCT oil as the carrier oil that we're going to be using for this infusion. And then we're going to wait 2 hours and come back here and see what's up, see what it looks like. I'm so stoked. Where's my cute small spoon? Apparently, as long as we can close this thing, we can pack as much in as we want. Alright, here's where we pour the oil in. First, we're gonna plug in our little herb things. Got our dream herbs in, and I guess we go. Alright, so I am doing a little bit less oil than I did before. This is going to help with the potency of the oil as well as the double infusion. So now that we have the herbs ready in there and the MCT oil in there ready to go, we're going to go ahead and just click infuse on this cool thing, and it will let us know when it's done. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and now we wait, and I'm super excited. And one of the other great things about making this new and improved oil with these few extra dream herbs is we'll be able to see how important these extra dream herbs really are. Again, the one we made before was primarily mugwort and blue lotus. This one has all of the things that the previous one had, but it also has calea, passion flower, and ginkgo biloba. So I am super excited to see how these all work together, and I will show you guys as soon as the oil is done what it looks like coming out of the infuser. So I'm so excited, and I will see you when the oil is done. Hello, it has been 2 hours, so that is the time of one single infusion. And because we are going to double infuse it, I am about to reset the infusion process. Let's take a look at the oil really quick and just see if we can see anything different about it. Okay, I see a bit of color to that oil. Ooh, it smells pretty fragrant too. I can't tell exactly what it smells like. It just kind of smells like a combination of a lot of different oils. But we're gonna go ahead and run it for another cycle. So I will see you in 2 more hours for the final infusion. Okay, hello guys, welcome back. It's almost 10 p.m. and the second infusion is finally done. So let's take a look at the oil and see what it's like. First impressions, it smells very potent. I smell a little bit of lavender, I smell the valerian root, I smell the mugwort. Definitely smells a lot more balanced than the last one. I definitely think I put too much valerian in the last one. But let's go ahead and put like a jar underneath it and see how much oil we can get out, and then we're going to squeeze the remaining oil out of the little strainer things, see how much oil we have, and then we can put it in a bottle and try it. So let's go. All right, this is how much the last one made, including the little dropper. So this one should be a little bit less because we put just a tiny bit less oil, so it's hopefully more potent. So let's go ahead, put this here. And it is going. So this is about how much we have total. For color comparison, let's see what this looks like compared to the first oil we made. Significant difference. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pop these little lids off, and I'll even show you what the inside looks like here. Really pretty, honestly. I love how colorful these herbs look. So let's go ahead and get the remaining oil out of this. So last time I tested the other oil, I put it into the dropper first, and then I just used the dropper to taste a little bit. I'm actually just going to sip it from the actual jar. That's going to be way easier, especially because the droppers I got, I don't know, the dropper part doesn't work very well. It doesn't really hold a lot. Whatever, I guess that's kind of the point with a dropper, is you want to be careful with how much liquid you get. But, you know, for efficiency and ease, we're just going to test this right now. I will say it smells very fragrant. I mostly get like a lavender type smell. So let's go ahead and just test this, okay? Wow. That's a big difference. Wow. This is bitter. The last one was pretty tame, like seriously. Very, very tame, like a very light lavender valerian type taste. I thought the other one was a little bit intense until tasting this one. The other one was nothing. You know how if you've brewed dream herbs in a tea before, like mugwort or something, you'll probably know that it's very bitter. It's a lot of dream herbs I feel like are very bitter. You get that punch with this oil. So I guess it is good that the dropper wouldn't pick up a lot of this, but you know, we're going to test the sweet spot with how much oil we need to really see an effect with our sleep and our dreams. So I have tested, and I'm still making the content for the other oil, but I have tested a couple weeks of the other oil at least. And I've tested it when I'm already dreaming. I've tested it when I am in a dry spell, and it seemed to work pretty well. It seemed to at least give me dream recall and make my dreams a little bit more vivid. This one, I'm really excited to see not only about the dream vividness and dream recall, but the overall like awareness in my dream, and also if my REM cycles seem longer. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that there's more, not necessarily dream periods, but there's more dreams within the REM periods that I'm having that I can recall. So I'm going to test this out for probably at least the next week or so, or at least a few days, whatever. I'm going to feel it out. I'm going to be recording some of my experiences with taking this before bed. I'm going to put it in this video, and then we will kind of come to a conclusion of how the oils compete against one another. And if so, if this oil really is more effective than the other oil, it really does come down to the specific dream herbs that we added to it. Again, we added calea, passion flower, and ginkgo biloba. The rest of the oils in this, or the rest of the herbs in this, are herbs from the previous batch. So we're going to test out these few differences, and we'll really be able to fine tune our recipe for this oil, and I will track the effects that I experience from it and everything. But as far as making the oil, it's very, very easy. Like, it really is easy, and this is pretty dark compared to the last one. Again, this is our new one. And this is our one before. So you really can tell a big difference in just the color alone and the taste. Oh my God, this new one is bitter compared to the last one. But it's not bitter enough for me to not want to take it and use it and test it out. So I'm very excited. Let's go ahead and just get this into the bottle. I'm going to make a label for it really quick, and then we'll be all good to go. So let's finish this up. That is potent, dude. I'm so excited to test this oil. It is so bitter, but I am going to take more tonight, more than I took just here, just a little sip. I'm going to take a few nice sips right before bed and see what that does and if that affects my dreams at all. Right now, I have fairly okay dream recall, but I've been staying up the past few nights working, and I haven't really been dreaming too much the past handful of days. So if I do tonight, it will stand out, and I will probably credit that to this oil. So I will see you guys when I give my first update. Okay, I just barely woke up from the first night of taking that new oil that we made last night, and wow, it definitely works. I didn't realize that I haven't dreamed for 3 days. I checked my journal and I haven't wrote anything down since the 20th, and it is the 23rd, and I had a full night of dreams, literally even in the first half of my sleep. Chance goes to bed super late, and so I usually wake up like when he goes to bed for a couple minutes, and I felt like I had a whole night of dreams from that point. And then when I woke up, the last dream that I remember was that I was somewhere at some like gas station or something random, and I asked this like woman for a ride home, and she said that she can give me a ride home, and I got into her truck, and it was her and her dog, and at super high speeds, apparently her whole door comes off, the whole passenger door comes off, and we were going like so fast. Like, it's probably because I watched Formula One and they go like over 200 miles an hour, and I literally felt like we were going over 200 miles an hour, and the door was flying off, and the dog was super chill about it. I remember getting close to what apparently I thought was my house, but apparently I wasn't even in the same state, because as soon as they're about to drop me off, I realize I'm near my parents' house down the street, which is in Utah, and I haven't seen them for 4 years. And so I was like, how did I end up here? That's fine. I guess I'll go inside and ask them for a ride home, even though I'm not even in the same state, so I don't really know what I was thinking at that point. But as soon as I get out of the car, I'm not there either. I'm like at her house. And you know those dreams where it feels like you're like accidentally ending up places and you're like, sorry guys, I'm really trying to get out of here. That's what it felt like. It felt like no matter what, I was just like somewhere else. And I remember just asking like, oh hey, do you mind if I just like chill with you here for a little bit? And she's like, oh no, my friends are coming over. And to me, you know, people could either be like, oh yeah, that's perfect because my friends are just coming over. Or, no, my friends are coming over. And it was like that. So I was like, oh yeah, no worries. I'll get out of here. So I said goodbye to her dog. And then I left, and I don't know what happened in between, but then I was at some like beach, but it was like a place that I've been to several times in my dreams. You know how I've told you guys like that and I'm sure other people do too, but I have like reoccurring dream environments that I end up in over and over and over and over that I recognize. It's almost like I'm building my dream world map or something. Well, I ended up back at one of the beaches that I really like in my dreams. I think it takes place in like Mexico somewhere, but it's like the beach is, oh my god, the water is super dark. The waves are raging, like super intense, but it's so beautiful, and people are hanging out outside and at the water, but it just has this super strong feeling to it. And this is also a place in my dreams where I've had dreams that are like IRL video game dreams, like where I'm what I perceive as, you know, awake and just like doing normal things, but people are like going into dungeons and like grouping up and like, you know, taking out these different groups of enemies or whatever. Just like, it's like games are mixed within my dreams, and this is a place that a lot of different things have happened in, but it's been like the video game beach in several of my dreams. Doesn't make sense. I don't know if this makes sense at all to you, but yeah, I have dream environments that reoccur where different themes happen, but it's always like the same places, and sometimes new places are introduced into my dreams. But I seem to dream of familiar places I've dreamt of several times. But yeah, I woke up, I had a really clear recall of the last dreams I've had, and that's kind of how I know that the oil is working, because like I said previously yesterday in the video, I have had not super strong dream recall the past week or so. I didn't know that I haven't written my dreams down the past 3 days until I went and wrote my dream down today, but that definitely showed me that the oil does work. It seems to be extremely potent, and this is from a dry spell, okay? This is from no preparation, no dream routine, no nothing, no anything, not even setting an intention before bed. This is literally from not dreaming for days to this, just from taking that oil before bed. So, my first review of it, I do think it helps with dream vividness. I definitely think it lengthens your REM sleep. We talked about the passion flower in the oil and how that kind of extends your REM. I definitely felt that. I definitely felt like I was dreaming in more REM periods. And it almost seemed like I was getting some dream signs. It almost, you know, so I do think the awareness in my dreams also increased, but don't be fooled if you're having a dream where you're like getting confused and things are just like not right and you're like not sure where you are. That is still a dream sign. The emotion of like confusion or like trying to figure out what's happening, that's almost like a pre-lucid dream, because you're like, something's not right, something's, off, but we're just like a little bit away from that awareness, from that realization that we're in a dream. And so if you are experiencing those dreams where you're like, oh, I should have known I was dreaming, this didn't make any sense, know that you're getting there. These are the kind of dreams we want, because the more you realize after what you could have done within that dream, and you activate your prefrontal cortex after the dream around what happened in the dream, that's training your prefrontal cortex to activate more within your dreams. And so the more that you recognize where you could have gotten lucid, the more you will take on those opportunities when you actually are in the dream. So if you're having those dreams, it's a great sign. But yeah, day one, I think that was a success, again, especially coming from a dry spell. And we'll just see what happens within the next couple days. I'm still going to be taking the oil and testing it out. And this time I'm going to be adding in some of my dream routines and my intentions before bed, and some of my practices that I feel help me with dream recall and lucid dreams. So I will see you tomorrow for day 2 and see what happens then. Okay, day 2. So I just woke up again, and I did not do my full dream practice last night like I said I was going to. I stayed up a little bit too late with work and things that I had to get done for this morning, and so I didn't know if I was going to dream at all, because sometimes when my sleeping cycle is a little messed up or I stay up a little bit later, sometimes I don't have any dreams. And so I don't know what I was really expecting tonight. But last night I was dreaming the entire last half of my sleeping cycle is what it felt like. I remember several dreams. One of the first ones that I remember was me, Chance, his brother, and his brother's girlfriend were like walking down the street. We were like outside some house, and then all of a sudden cops started chasing us, and so we started running, and we came back to my house, but my house was actually my old apartment in Utah, and apparently the cops were looking for something that we took or something like that, but literally all I remember is us walking past the house. I feel in my pocket that there's keys in there, and the cops coming into the room, and so I like kind of get on the ground behind the door, and I'm like, oh, I found them, like, because I guess that's what they were looking for. And so instead of them believing it was in my pocket, I was like, oh, look, right as they're coming in, I'm pulling it out of my pocket and bending down like, oh my god, I found this behind the door. This gets Chance's brother in trouble, so he's like under investigation for something, and then the rest of us are fine. And then what's interesting is the cop was like super, super, super nice to us, especially me. He had like Robin Williams energy. He was like really kind. He was like a father figure energy. And so after Chance's brother got put under investigation or whatever, this cop was like hanging out with us, and I remember me chilling in my room with like a Ouija board and I haven't used one forever, but obviously I have one, and he was like, oh no, you don't want to mess with this. It was almost like it's almost like he saw me as a little kid in some ways. I felt like I was a younger girl around him in his presence, because he was like very caring. He was trying to make sure we were all safe. He was like sitting with us, asking what we were doing, and then as soon as he said that about the Ouija board, for some reason I was like, look around, I'm used to this, don't worry, I know what I'm doing, because I have a lot of weird, eclectic, weird, oddities and things, and it just kind of matches the vibe of the things that I had. And then he was like, oh, okay. And then he just kind of hung out chilling with us. The next thing I remember, which would never happen, is Chance decided to perform on stage with me for some reason, and Juno was also there. And so there was a huge crowd of people, and we were like, I don't know what we were doing, but we chose to like do this performance thing. And Juno was doing tricks, and Chance started singing. He like chose to sing some like church song for whatever reason. By the way, he would never ever go on stage with me or sing or anything. That is so out of who he is. So I should have known. That was kind of like a dream sign, especially Juno doing like flips and stuff on the stage. Okay, yeah, that was normal. Let's just go along with it. And I remember, you guys know, I love to sing. I sing more than I talk, believe it or not. And I remember I really wanted to sing, but the microphone wasn't working. It was like completely put under a cup of water. And right at the last minute, I'm able to get the microphone out of the water, shake it off, turn it on, and hit the last notes, like the last final bit of the song. These high notes I'm like belting out, and it worked out perfectly. We killed the performance. Awesome. Don't know why it happened, don't know what the goal was, don't know any of that. Awesome. The next dream I had was just all about my plants, caring for my plants having babies, my plants flowering, you know, all the good stuff that I'm obsessed with throughout the entire day. And then another dream that I had was I was walking through this park at night, like this playground type thing, and I was completely by myself, and I was singing, belting out music, and I was picking up crystals all over the ground. This, you know how playgrounds have like wood chips all over the ground. Instead, in this playground, there was crystals and stones, like really, really cool ones. And some of the ones I even have at home, like ones that were carved into like shells or animals, or just like weird, random, polished, carved ones covering this playground. And so I was just picking them up, singing, picking, you know, whatever, vibing. And then all of a sudden, there's like a group of like 4 or 5 sketchy guys that I hear coming towards me. And they literally say, "I see her, let's get her." And so I'm like, I go to the fence and I'm like, "Oh guys, you might want to get out of here. The cops are after you. I just saw them around the corner." And then they get super sketched out. They're like, "What?" And like, from their perspective, I'm trying to help them. You know, I'm like, "Yeah, I just saw them around the corner. They're splitting up. Like, I really would get out of here if I were you guys." And I just remember them running and taking off. And then for a split second, I was dressed as Wonder Woman. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. And so these dreams were like, it took me a while to write them in my dream journal because there was so much detail to these, and there's so much symbolism in them that I'll have to go back and look at. Like, seriously, it may not seem like it at first, but there are several cues of symbolism. Like, my inner child showed up, that feeling of being my little girl self. Physical, expression. You know, being able to express myself fully. There were a few times where that showed up. Being heard, like standing up for myself. There's so many little things that I feel like are lessons that I've gone through, especially as a child, that have kind of circled in different ways. And it was a really cool dream to meet that different part of myself. So yeah, pretty cool. I will say that this oil is super, like, the real deal. Like, it really, really does seem to work. I've tested it in ways where, like, okay, I usually don't dream when I do this, or I usually don't dream if I stay up too late, you know, and I still dream. I've still been dreaming, so that's pretty cool. And I know some people use cannabis, right? And there was one night that I took a little edible with Chance, and I still dreamt. So even though I don't use cannabis too much, and even though, you know, you really do have to prioritize one or the other, it's very hard for dreams to coexist alongside using THC in any way. It seems that if it's out of a small dose, like, recall still comes through pretty strongly. And I take a bit of the oil. Like I told you guys, the dropper doesn't seem to like work fully. Like, hardly any can fit in the dropper, so I'm not even kidding. I'll probably take like 10 little dropperfuls, just so it's like basically covering under my tongue. And then it does taste super bitter, so I have been like shooting it back with water. And I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna have to test this right before meditation, because it really, really, really does affect my dreams in a positive way. And my sleeping cycles too. They feel more balanced. I'm getting better sleep. My REM cycles seem longer. I'm even though it doesn't look like it right now, I am waking up with a bit more energy, just feeling like less groggy and fatigued. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna have to test like in the middle of the day or something, taking the oil and then meditating and trying to drop in to mind awake, body asleep or something, and seeing what happens there, because yeah, this oil is awesome. And you could probably take this in a tea too, like, but I think I'm finding the sweet spot for like the specific herbs that should be together for this type of effect. So that's really interesting. So I will see you tomorrow for one more day. I'm gonna record one more night, and this time I'm gonna try things a little bit differently. I haven't been doing a ton of reality checks. I don't do them a lot too much anymore. Sometimes just because it's almost like an unconscious thing that happens automatically. Like if I'm in a weird situation in the dream, or I'm just walking, like I'll randomly decide to do a reality check. But that hasn't been happening in my past couple nights. So what I'm going to do is all day today I'm going to be doing reality checks. All before bed I'm going to be doing reality checks. I'm going to try to saturate my mind with more dream and lucid dream content and kind of really set myself up. And then I will report what happens, and we will go from there. So I will see you tomorrow for day 3. Alright, I forgot to record this video this morning, so I am recording it now, later at night, about my dreams that I had this morning. And like I told you guys, I was going to do reality checks for the rest of the day. I was going to take the dream oil, and I was going to set intentions for a lucid dream and see what happens. Well, I did dream of my dream sign the entire night, my biggest dream sign, which is being in a school. Like literally, I had several dreams in a row where I was back at school. I had this really, really interesting, super vivid dream where it was like some deeper message about my health or something. It was like I accidentally drank poison, and I actually like went through the process of like dying in my dream. And then when the dream went black, I was in school, and it just like kept changing. And once I was in school, I kept looking at my hands. I kept counting my fingers, but I didn't catch on. And I was also in my school, the school, and I was like going through several confusing things like usual when I dream of being in a school. I was having a hard time finding my class, and then I had to keep getting back into my locker over and over, and I kept forgetting the locker combination, and then I was like finding weird things in my locker. And there were so many moments of like pre-lucidity, like running into several things that I always dream about, or getting confused and like having to stop and like try to think about what's going on. And it was just like so much more awareness within my dreams. And I haven't done reality checks for a while, because a lot of the time I'll just like realize when I'm dreaming, so I haven't had to really rely on them too much. But it was interesting after like a full night or a full day of doing reality checks to see them appear so much in my dreams, but also for them not to actually get me lucid. So that was interesting. It's like I was doing them over and over in the dream, but that wasn't the part that was creating the lucidity. It was all of the confusion and like, constantly getting lost. And I just thought that was super interesting. And so, yeah, my dreams have been extremely vivid, a lot more potent since taking this oil. And it makes me want to try different like lucid dreaming techniques and different things during the day to see how quickly they show up in my dreams, So yeah, I'm definitely be playing around with this a little bit more, and I'm just going to keep taking the oil. I might not take it every single day. I might, have some days in between, but I also might test out what the differences are between taking it every day and maybe a few times a week or something. But yes, this oil does work, and it is definitely impacting my dreams in a very positive way, I'd say. Okay, hello guys, it is the next day. I have one more dream to share with you because I really think that it goes along with one of the dreams I had yesterday. So if you guys remember the dream I had of accidentally drinking poison, I think this kind of goes along with the symbolism of that dream of, conscious awareness of what we put into the body, protecting our vessel from poison, indulgence. It could represent so many things, attachments, like earthly attachments. Well, I had this dream last night where I was sitting in the house with Chance, and there was a knock on the door, and he went and answered the door, and it was a monk, but the monk was just out of sight, so I couldn't see him at the door. And intuitively, I felt that it was the energy of the Buddha, like in the dream. Which is so crazy because I talked to you guys about the one time that I experienced the energy of the Buddha in a dream that I had like years ago in a lucid dream, and it hasn't happened since. But this monk was talking about how he is so happy that he's never been happier because he has freed himself from earthly attachments. He mentioned cannabis, he mentioned other things that maybe don't necessarily relate to me, but are like things that people become attached to or have a hard time separating from. Well, this monk was talking about how he was so happy that he has freed himself from earthly attachments and that he is able to experience his own happiness and his own energy flow without anything disrupting this natural energy flow. And Chance turns and looks to me in the dream and says, "This message is for you." And I'm like, I didn't, like, obviously it felt so profound and different and special, but once I woke up I realized the connection between this dream and the dream before. The dream before, I was unconscious. I literally consumed a poison. And when you think about the symbolism of poison, think about so many things that we become attached to that maybe cover up our happiness or cover up our natural energy flow. And so it almost was like showing the polarity in the human experience, you know, like the poison and then the path. And I literally was able to have such a vivid experience of both of those in like less than a day and a half from each other. And I just thought that was so interesting, and I got so much energy from the dream. Like, I felt so much joy from that second dream. And in the first dream, it's not like I felt a lot of fear. It's like I was even conscious after I drank the poison and told Chance goodbye. And it was like, if you look at the symbolism, it's like becoming aware and conscious of our actions. And even the symbolism of this person, this monk, the energy of the Buddha knocking on the door. It's like this energy wanted to come in, and it's also like being courageous enough to open the door to an experience that you know will lead you back to yourself, or a path that will lead you back to yourself, or whatever it is. I just thought that was super interesting and really kind of important to note based off the dreams that I've recorded so far in this video. I thought that was a good one to add into this experience. I will say that the only thing that I did different with this oil last night was held it under my tongue for a couple minutes before I washed it down with water. I don't know if that did anything, but I had really vivid dreams again, but that one seemed really special for some reason. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you guys got something from this. This is such a potent oil, and the dreams that I've gotten from it seem so vibrant and profound in symbolic ways to me. And the opportunities that I've gotten to get lucid, I've also noticed, have increased from the time that I've been using this oil. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if you want more content like this. Let me know how I should tweak the oil, or if there's any other dream herbs that you think would be cool in a lucid dreaming oil like this one. Alright, I love you guys so much. Thanks again for joining, and as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.